Before we get into episode 89 of Stu's Wrestling Podcast, this week's episode is in the memory of former WWF, WWE, WCW talent wrestler, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Paul blazed a trail in the wrestling business. He had the feud with Hulk Hogan at his peak. He wrestled for years. I actually met Paul in Dallas at WrestleCon, and it was by chance, really. He was set up for the signing, and I was looking at the Suplex Wrestling merchandise stand that was set up, and he told me to go for a Zack Sabre Jr. Suplex t-shirt, and we had a little talk for a couple of minutes. So yeah, I got to share a moment with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. My thoughts are with his family at this tough time. R.I.P. Mr. Wonderful.
You're listening to Stu's Wrestling Podcast. It's time for British Wrestling's sharpshooter, your host, Stu Palmer.
I just got this feeling that I've never ever had. Who am I believing? Can you tell me again what's deceiving?
It's episode 89 of Stu's Wrestling Podcast, and have I got a fantastic guest for you this week. It is the current Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, the Virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. Timing getting Deonna on is perfect, as this weekend it is the huge Slammiversary pay-per-view on Fight TV, and Deonna has an unnamed opponent. She does not know who she's facing. Deonna is in her second reign as Knockouts champion. She's one of the best women's wrestlers on the circuit worldwide. As we know, women's wrestling is on the surge, as it has been for many, many years. So we get to talk about the current situation Impact. We also talk about a dream match that she'd love to have with someone who's maybe not wrestling now. So, without further ado, my guest on Stu's Wrestling Podcast is the Virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, the current two-time Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, and you will get to see her and her unnamed opponent on Sunday evening for Impact Wrestling Slammiversary on Fight TV. Enjoy. My guest today on Stu's Wrestling Podcast, all the way from the good old US of A, it is the two-time Impact Knockouts champion, the Virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, and it is pay-per-view week, and you have not got a named opponent. So I'm asking you, hypothetically, who is the opponent for this match, Deonna?
Oh gosh, I honestly don't have any idea. I've been asking Twitter, give me hints. Who do you think it is? And there are so many possibilities. I mean, Tommy Dreamer even put his name in the hat to be like, I can put on a wig. So I don't know.
You could have a kendo stick match with Tommy.
I don't know.
Do you think it's someone outside of Impact? Because you faced anybody in the Knockouts division. So I'm thinking, right. Are we going to see someone from NWA? Are we going to see someone from AEW? We know the links there.
Yeah. Gosh, I feel like it has to be. Someone who was released and their 90 days will be up. I feel like it could be someone from AEW, NWA, Ring of Honor, AAA. We have all these connections to all these places, and they keep saying our world's changing again. So I don't know, but I do agree that I've already lapped the competition in the Impact Knockouts division. So it's time for someone else.
Do you want to throw some names at me?
Gosh, Chelsea Green is my best friend. If she's free, I'd love to see her at Impact. Britt Baker, same thing. We keep teasing some people. We'd love a dream match. So if she steps through that forbidden door, that would be awesome. I'd love to be the AEW Women's Champion. The Iconics will be free. So whether it's Cassie or Jess, I don't know. I don't care. Anyone. I don't know. It could be anyone. I keep asking. Any competitor, any company, any generation. So it could be someone like Mickie James. It could be Awesome Kong. It could be Taylor Wilde coming back.
You can put that Fujiwara armbar on anyone. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. You've got that. It doesn't matter. It could be Awesome Kong. She's one hell of a wrestler. I think you can apply that hold. You've done it so many times.
And I've done it on Awesome Kong before.
Right, okay. I stand corrected. I just want to ask about, obviously you've been back with Impact now since last year. How has it been? How's it been being back?
It's been amazing. I have no complaints whatsoever. Impact has given me the opportunity to do everything that I wanted to do in the right way. And then, I've been atop the knockouts division for almost over a year now. So to be the champion, to be doing interviews, to do the promotional work, to be crossing over and going to AAA and defending my knockouts championship all over the country. They've given me every opportunity to put my best foot forward and to right the wrongs of my past. And I cannot wait to continue to do it after Slammiversary.
How do you feel about fans being back in attendance? I know that's not happened since last March when the pandemic hit. So yeah, how do you feel fans being back, getting to see you guys? And it's a superb card on the weekend as well.
It's going to be amazing. I have not been in Impact since I've been back with fans. So I expect a champion's welcome. I expect them to be excited to see me be the Knockouts champion. But other than that, I think we're all just excited for the world to be getting back to normal. And to have some fans in the building is going to make it that much more exciting. It's going to be energetic. It's going to be hectic. There's an awesome card top to bottom for Slammiversary. So I think as much as the fans are excited to be there, us wrestlers are equally excited.
I just wanted to ask about your career, obviously starting out in the business and stuff like that. Did you ever envisage you'd be this high up in your career, or has it taken you a little bit by surprise as well? I know obviously you have ambitions, I get that, all you girls. Yeah, how do you feel being where you are now, positioned in wrestling? You're so well known.
Yeah, I think that, growing up, I wanted to be a wrestler. I wanted to become a champion. And you never anticipate the highs and the lows of any industry, but especially wrestling, because so much is out of your control. And, to come into Impact from where I was, which wasn't on TV, which was an afterthought, which wasn't getting opportunities. At one point, I didn't even know, is wrestling for me anymore? Because I'm so unhappy to be where I am at Impact, to be the Knockouts champion 2 times, to have held it basically for almost an entire year straight, to be given awards at the end of the year, and to be able to, again, travel the world as the Knockouts champion and put our company on a pedestal for the world to see, is everything I wanted since I was little. I just thought maybe it would come a little easier or faster at some point. But, the trials and the tribulations make it worth it. And to be where I am today, I'm so proud. I'm so happy. I'm excited. And, I just constantly have a chip on my shoulder to put my best foot forward.
You got to strive, and that's what people will take away from what you said. Don't give up. That would be my thing to get across from what you've said.
Absolutely. And there's obviously going to be times where you're like, I don't want to go through this anymore. What is it worth? But when it is worth it, and you finally do succeed and you're where you want to be, it makes it that much more special. If I had been, the Ring of Honor champion in 2016 and was just given it, I might not have as much worth in being the Knockouts champion. It might not be as special, but because this is my first championship, and it's the first company that's really invested in me and wanted to see me succeed and pushed me forward and was encouraging, and the entire environment is just amazing. It might not have meant as much, but, I cannot say enough positive things about Scott D'Amore and Impact Wrestling as a whole. So, it is all worth it. Just, again, don't give up.
I want to go back a little bit now as well. You spent some time in Ring of Honor. You were one of the ladies that led the charge with Women of Honor. Just your thoughts about that, because it wasn't that long ago.
I wanted the world for that entire division. And that was and Mandy Leon's little baby was how can we start a women's division? Because women's wrestling hadn't been a thing in Ring of Honor in so many years. So to have that first match and kind of be credited with that rebirth of Women of Honor was really special. And then to kind of see what it grew into, we got a Women of Honor championship tournament, and there was a winner crowned, was really special. Obviously there's some downfalls to that, and they've had to reboot, but to see Maria Kanellis take, what that little baby was, and now it just exploded, and there's another, championship tournament. There's a new championship. Chelsea just debuted for Ring of Honor last night. I'm excited for what the possibilities are for that, because I got to start it. And if there was an opportunity to go back to Ring of Honor and become their women's champion, that would be fun too.
As many belts as you can get, as many championships as you can get. Yeah, the belt collector, like Ultimo Dragon was a belt collector. Why not you? Why not you?
Exactly. This is the age of the virtuoso. We are growing day by day, match by match. And, you know, come, August 14th, I'm going to be a 2-time champion anyway. I'm going to defeat Fabi Apache, become the Reina de Reinas champion. And I'll be at Impact the next week for tapings with 2 belts.
Which other ladies do you like watching in wrestling? Which people do you think are set to do very well in your opinion? I know I'm not saying play favourites. I'm sure there's a plethora of ladies. But yeah, just some off the top of your head, maybe some girls that we need to look out for, as women's wrestling is so prevalent now, and so it should be. Yeah,
I always say Willow Nightingale. I have known Willow since we both started wrestling, so, you know, 7 or 8 years now. She's done some stuff with AW Dark. She just did MLW a couple of days ago. I want to see her just explode. I'm trying to think about Sky Blue is another one who's been on NWA quite a bit. I think that she is phenomenal. And I think that once more people see her, they're going to love her. So yeah. Jody Threat is someone else that I'd love to have an Impact. I think she's so freaking cool and different and just like a badass. So I'd love to have her on the Knockouts division with me.
What are your tips for people wanting to get into pro wrestling? I love asking, you know, you guys in the industry. Just people, what do people need? You know, that might be a cliche sentence for me there, but yeah, just what do they need? Yeah, what are your tips basically?
Yeah, I think the biggest important is to find like a reputable and credible school. I think that there's a million wrestling schools that, you know, anyone could pop up a wrestling school and be a trainer. But to go somewhere that, you know, has contacts, that was a successful professional wrestler themselves really helps. And then someone who's gonna guide you. It's easy to, you know, pump out wrestler after wrestler after wrestler and just throw them and let them go their own path and do their own thing. But from my personal experience with my trainer, Damian Adams in New Jersey, he's still someone I call and talk to, if not every day, every other day. When I'm getting ready for big matches like Slammiversary, he's someone I bounce ideas off of or send little training videos to. So I think someone who's really going to guide you through your entire career is important to find that. So a reputable school with a reputable trainer and someone who is going to be a lifelong trainer is important.
How about like mic skills and stuff like that? Now, we hear a lot from old school people, oh, wrestling isn't what it is. I still love it. I've watched since 1990. Some people say people don't connect with the crowd. What are your thoughts on that? People have got the arsenal in the ring, but some people think people are missing it in terms of promo skills. But I think wrestling's in a great place personally, but it's just what I've read and stuff. Yeah. What do you feel about mic skills and stuff like that and people saying they're lacking?
Yeah, that wasn't something that was... we trained as much, right? Like Damien is all about wrestling, and it's only been maybe the last 2 or 3 years that he's really pushed promo class and promo skills. So I do think it's something that people are uncomfortable with, so they don't like to do. And me too. Like I was like, I don't want to. And public speaking wasn't my thing, and it hasn't been probably over the last 2 years is when I've really been able to like be comfortable talking on the mic and talking in the ring and getting to know who this character is and how to portray that outward. So I think that's a super important part of wrestling. And I think as social media grows, and as we do more interviews and more behind the scenes stuff, you have to be comfortable talking. So I agree that it's probably the less trained aspect of wrestling, but it should be the most trained aspect of wrestling because you need to interact, you need to talk to people, you need to network and communicate. And if you can't do that effectively, people don't know who you are, or, are kind of like, oh, they're not good at that. And that was something that I failed at, was like, I wasn't a character for so many years. I didn't know how to speak or speak in a character. So it was really hard for me to get opportunities until I nailed that down.
I've been all over the world. I've been to WrestleMania. I've been to events, fan perspective. How is it wrestling in front of fans? Are you going to have fans on Sunday nights? So yeah, just how is that for you as a performer?
It's amazing. It's I think as performers, we want immediate gratification. And it's been hard because we don't have that. So we're going to the back and there's no like, winner's high or anything like that, because the fans aren't there to give you their energy. And that's really what they do. They push us that much further when we're tired or we can't breathe or we're in pain. Like to hear that chanting or the claps or things like that really push us to get back up again. And that's cliche and maybe it's like, kayfabe or whatever, but it's the truth. When you're down and out and you have someone yelling, Deonna, get up. It's like, I got to do it for them. Right. So to finally have that back is going to be everything we've been missing and everything we need. So I honestly cannot wait.
Brilliant. Now, what are your thoughts on the UK scene? Now, I hold UK wrestling on a pedestal. I might be, partial there. I think I don't think there's any fans in the world like the British fans. But yeah, your thoughts on the UK scene, because we've got schools everywhere. It blew up in the last 8 or 9 years over here, the independents. But yeah, your thoughts on the UK scene. I'd love to hear that. What you think? It
was always my goal to come and wrestle in the UK because if you say in the last 8 to 10 years it's blown up, and that's when I've been wrestling. So when I was able to finally come over and wrestle was like a bucket list. I can check this off because I did it, and the fans are right there with you when I talk about like being your lifeline to keep going, and whether it's the bad guy or the good guy, they come up with the most creative chants I've ever heard. They want to be a part of the show as much as we are a part of the show. So I've had some of the most fun wrestling in the UK. For a long time, that was like my second home. I was there so much. I have best friends who live there. So I'm also excited for the day that we can bring Impact Wrestling back to the UK, because I think it's a whole other ball game when we go over there, and the fans, not that they're better than American fans, but I'm not going to be impartial, but it just brings a whole other element to wrestling when you're there, and those fans are chanting some crazy things at you.
Where were some of your favourite places in the UK? I bet you got to do some touristy stuff in your spare time. Yeah, some experiences over here that you've enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I love the food. Halloumi is my favorite thing ever. And I had never had it until I came over, and then it was like every day, like, can we go to Tesco and get halloumi because we ran out? Like I ate it all. I've obviously gotten to do like London and see, Big Ben and Buckingham Palace and things like that. But really, yeah, it was just for me, like I lived there, 2 or 3 weeks at a time I would go, and I didn't get to wrestle as much during that time, but, it was just fun to like embrace a different culture. It's very different than America. And I fell in love with it.
Who would be a dream opponent for the Virtuosa from the past now? Ooh. Somebody, maybe, someone who's inactive now. And I know there's so many, but yeah, I thought, I'll ask you that. That's come off the top of my head, that.
My answer is always Trish Stratus. She came back SummerSlam a couple years ago. She says she's retired again. But if she was to ever come back, I'd love that, because that's the woman who made me want to be a wrestler. I loved to love her and I loved to hate her. And Trish Stratus was just it for me. But then also being in the ring with Gail last week was very, not eye-opening, because I know the competitor that Gail is, but my go-to answer was always Trish. And now it's kind of like, Gail's in retirement. She says that she's in retirement. She's done wrestling. She's happy to leave it where it is. But if I could convince her to come back, I think there's something there.
Absolutely. So on the weekend now, who wins between Kenny Omega and Sami Callihan?
Oh, that's
Don Callis will be scheming as well. I'm what?
Sure. I would love to see the Impact World Championship come back to Impact. I will say that. So, yeah, Sami Callihan I'd love to see win, but it's a toss-up because it's such great competition, and Kenny is absolutely phenomenal. I think he's the absolute best in the world right now. So, I can't count him out. It's not going to be an easy fought victory for Sami to win, but I'm Team Impact. I'd love to see the championship come home.
He needs to lose some belts. Omega. I want Adam Page to get the AEW title as well. He's my guy. I'm rooting for him. So okay. Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully Omega drops both titles, but yes. So back to Slammiversary, which is on Fight TV, $19.99, £15 here in the UK on Sunday. The Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo, obviously defending the title. You do not know your opponent yet, but yeah, just to close out, thank you very much for being on Stu's Wrestling Podcast today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
A big thank you to Powered 4 TV for putting the episodes up on the on-demand service there. Big thank you to John Scott and Rich Crowhurst for all the support. Really appreciate it week in, week out. Nothing's ever a problem. Also, we're doing Powered 4 TV Big Fight Weekly, the MMA and boxing show with my cousin Rich and John have put on these first. It's been fantastic with that. Thank you to Chris Dutton, again, as always, for the superb editing. I couldn't do this without him. And fantastic job once again. Thank you to Mike Angus for the intro, as always, to the show. You can find the Stu's Wrestling Podcast merch at WrestleMerchCentral.com. There is loads of stuff, lots of different items that you can get. Mugs, hats, face coverings, t-shirts, hoodies, even the new varsity jacket with embroidered Stu's Wrestling Podcast logo on it. Big thank you once again to Dean and the team for listing my products on there. Great work, great work. And we will see you soon for the next episode of Stu's Wrestling Podcast.